we're going to work on is catching our horse. And the reason why we want to catch our horse versus us walking up to the horse, we're looking to have that horse respect our space and our intention. So in the herd of horses, how horses determine respect is he or she that does not move their feet, okay, is the winner. And the horse that is moving their feet the most is usually the one that is lower on the dominance hierarchy, okay? So we want to teach our horses to come and catch us. One, because it builds a strength and relationship and bond. And then the other reason is that if our horses are looking away and not wanting to be with us, that's immediately a sign that our horse already is not interested in a relationship, and we have to fix that. So what we're going to do is we're going to work on some techniques to get or cause our horses to start to want to come up to us, engage, and catch us. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to realize that when I am working with my horse, or when I am thinking about going to the barn and riding, the session doesn't start in the arena. The session starts the moment your horse recognizes that you're there, okay? That's when the relationship starts. So what I want to do is I want to see if I can catch this horse's attention, okay? And once I catch this horse's attention, I'm going to back away from this horse and see if that horse can draw in. So I'm going to stand here next to the arena, and I see if I can cause this horse maybe to look up and take some interest. She's already seen that I'm here, so she's a little bit uninterested. But as soon as she, or he actually, puts his ears and eyes on me, I'm going to back away, okay? I'm going to approach, and as soon as he puts his ears and eyes on me, I'm going to back away and then allow him to sniff my hand. I've got my palm facing the ground, my fingers are closed, knuckles in the air, and I'm allowing him to sniff my hand, and that's what we call the horseman's handshake. It introduces us to the horse, just like how another horse would sniff each other, okay? So now that my horse has shown some interest, okay, again, I'll allow my horse, every time my horse looks at me, I back up and draw them into my space. And what I mean by draw is I want them to come up to me, and we do that by backing up, okay? We're inviting them into our personal space with this particular exercise, okay? Now I can just hang out for a minute and rub on my horse, allow them to be curious, make sure she doesn't nibble on me, so I can just push her nose away. And if she wants to be curious about my stick and string, I'll allow it. She's a 4-year-old, so he's a young colt, and he's looking to be curious, and I'm going to allow that because the first step toward building a relationship is trust and curiosity. I want these horses to be confident with me. I don't want them to feel fearful or afraid, or that like they need to run away from me. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come inside my paddock, okay, and I've got my halter on my left hand, ready to, prepared to catch my horse, okay. I'm going to bring my stick inside as well, just in case I need it. Then I'm going to walk into this paddock, and as soon as my horse brings his attention on me, I'm going to walk away and draw him in, and then rub on him, okay? Because I want him to, again, to realize that I'm at the place of comfort, okay? Now if he walks away, I'll drive his hindquarter away from me, and as soon as he turns and faces, I'll back up and allow him to come. And again, I'll rub on him so that he sees that I'm the place of comfort, okay? And if I did this for 2 weeks in a row, pretty soon this horse would be coming up to me as soon as he sees me, right? So he's catching me, I'm not catching him. All right, if he was in a big pasture, all right, and he was way off in the mountains, saw me walking up, I would want him to come galloping down to me. I wouldn't want to have to walk up a mountain to come get him. So I want him to put more effort to coming to me than I am to coming to him. All right. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to have our halter in our left hand. Okay, our lead rope. As you can see, I've folded up my lead rope. Okay, so I make one fold in half, then put the rest of the lead rope around my elbow. Okay, now I've got my halter and crown piece in my left hand. Okay, and it's okay, he can chew on this. Not going to criticize him for that. All right. And if he walks away, I'm going to encourage him with my stick to not be away from me. And as soon as he looks at me, I'm going to back up and see if I can draw him in. Good. And I'll reward him. The next thing I'm going to do is I got my right hand over his mane. Put my left hand under his neck. Now I've got him caught. And I can bring his head and neck to me and slide my nose piece over his nose, crown piece over his poll. Okay. Then I'll take my crown piece and I'll put it through the post. Then I take the tail of my crown piece, bring it around the post toward my horse's eye. Then I take the tail and put it through the knot that I just created. Okay, and I've got a 3-bite knot that allows me to untie this halter. No matter how hard he pulls on it, I'll always be able to untie this halter. Okay, no matter what. If I tie any type of other knot, I will only be able to get it off by cutting it if the horse were to pull on it. Okay. All right. Now we've got our horse haltered for the first time. And he's ready for us to start to teach him about leading. Okay, before we do our groundwork exercises, we have to teach him a little bit about leading. Okay, and we can do that by stepping out away from his hindquarter and walking off and releasing to him as soon as he follows. Okay, we'll do that again. Okay, I'm going to take my lead line, I'm going to walk out to the right and then forward. And as soon as he follows me and releases, comes into the lead line without pulling on it, I'll release pressure and I'll stop. Okay. And that's how we can get a little bit of leading in on these young horses before we start working on our ground exercises. Okay. Good. All right, now I'll see if, just really quick, if I can do that again, if I can get some curiosity and ask him to come up to me. Okay, again, I'm going to draw him in by walking away. If we have a bigger round pin, you can even, it's a little bit easier. I'm going to catch his eye, walk away. Good. I'll rub him when he comes up to me. Okay. Put my right hand over his neck, slide my left hand underneath. Okay. Now I've got his neck caught. Open up my halter, put it over his nose. Okay. If he wants to chew on it, that's all right. I'll just take it out of his mouth and put it over his nose again. Slide my crown piece through the post, come around with the tail of my crown piece toward his eye, and I'm pinching the knot up here so I can slide this crown piece through and tie a 3-bight knot. Okay. And I want to make sure that these nerve buttons, these knots right here, are above the soft part of his nose, okay? And they're basically falling just on the line of the cartilage, but they're not so far down his nose that they're going to pinch the soft part of his nerves down here, okay? So now we've got a horse that's been caught, and the next step is that we could start to lead this horse to our arena and go through our groundwork exercises. Okay, good job, buddy. Now we're going to talk about how we catch our horse from a stall. Now, the reason why we started out in the paddock is because a lot of horses are turned out in large paddocks or out in pastures, and we need to know how to catch them in large areas. But we also need to know how to catch our horse in a stall safely, and we're going to use the same technique to see if our horse can first become curious, then draw and catch us. So as you can see, our horse right here, he's already curious from our last session, so I'm just going to allow that and see if we can do our horseman's handshake, get a little bit of curiosity, okay? And then before he changes his mind, I'm going to open up this stall. See, I'm going to allow him to back up first before I open up the stall, and I'll rub on him. Good. Let him know that it's a good thing for him to come and face the front of this stall. Then I'm going to take my halter, put my right arm over the top of his neck, slide my left hand over. If he tries to come out, I'll just block him with my halter. Okay. Then I'll take my nose piece and see if I can slide it up over his nose. If he wants to chew on it, I'll just try to slide it over his lips before he has a chance to chomp on it. And then tie my knot around my post. And then every time that we come up here, we'd want to encourage him to turn face and come to the door side of the stall. Now, also, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this as an evaluation process as we start working with him. Once we start working with him and going through our exercises, and if today he comes to the stall and greets me, then we work with him, and tomorrow he doesn't, okay? I can say that, okay, there might be a gap in the relationship. We know I need to inspire him, or he might feel we're putting a lot of pressure on him, so he doesn't want to be with us as much anymore. So I'd work on more exercises that would encourage him to want to be our partner and want to come to us, okay? Just like what we're doing now with the catch. So now I'm going to take this halter off, and we're going to see if we can find a horse that maybe doesn't want to be caught. I'm going to see if this horse right here can take some interest in me. Okay. And if she doesn't, I'll see if I can put some pressure on her hind quarter, and then when she turns and faces, I'll walk away. And I'll draw her and take the pressure off. And I'll see if I can approach her. If her ears are forward and her eyes look soft, I'll see if she can have some curiosity and sniff my hand. Okay. Then I'll back away. Maybe she'll come up to me. Okay. Now I'm coming into her personal space, so I have to realize that this is her house, right? And that's another reason why I want my horses to approach me in the stall, is that if they can come up to me with a good look on their face, one, it's safer, and two, I'm not teaching them that being in the corner of the stall is correct, okay? Because if her butt is facing me and she's in the corner of the stall, that's more dangerous for me to walk past that hindquarter, right? And then I'm also encouraging her that disconnecting to me is okay. So now I'm encouraging her by asking her to come to me and spending a little time with her facing me, that catching is a good thing, okay? Now if she wants to leave, I'll allow it. And then I'll encourage her to maybe turn, face, and re-engage. Atta girl. Good. Okay. Now that she's standing still, take my halter, put it underneath her neck, take my right hand and catch my crown piece, put the crown piece through the spoke. Okay. Then I'll tie my 3-bite knot. Okay. And that's how we'd work on catching horses in a stall. We always want them to start to try to find curiosity in thinking about our movements, thinking about wanting to come to the outside of the stall versus thinking about being turned around and facing away from us. Now this horse is thinking about the relationship and being a partner. Atta girl. Okay.